In your opinion, what are the causes of climate change?
In my opinion, humans are the major cause of climate change as they contribute daily in polluting the world. For example, there is a huge problem of overproduction as the humans produce a lot more than they should and than they need. For example, if we think about fast fashion, there are a lot of factories that produce cheap clothes in huge quantities, and this creates waste as they never sell them all, but a lot of them remain, so this causes waste, and this waste is difficult to displace, so most of the clothes and the plastic are not recycled, and they end up in huge islands around the world, which are called plastic islands, and it's a huge problem for the environment. There are a great emission of CO2, which is a greenhouse gas that in little quantities helps the environment. It's useful in managing the temperature of the environment, while if it's in great quantities, then it damages the environment as the temperature increases too much, so it causes all the disasters that we see every day in the environment, such as floods and other things like that. And the huge problem with energy, as humans need a great quantity of energy, and the world is not able to provide anymore as they are ending, and we are not looking for other methods. For example, we have a renewable energy, but only few countries have actually improved their renewable energy factories, for example. But in Italy, renewable energy is just a tiny, very tiny a way of producing energy. In many countries, fossil fuels are the main source of energy, which fossil fuels are very pollutant, so this increases the emission of CO2 and the increase of temperature in the world. Not to mention the production of oil, which is absolutely very pollutant. For example, if we think about accidents such as spills, we see that the oil is a great cause of sea pollution.
What do you think could be done to stop it?
So to try to support the climate change, I think that it's important to do everyday changes in our life. First of all, I think that it's important to use as little plastic as possible. Another thing that could be done is to help like local and artisanal productions, and to avoid buying things from multinationals or big factories. And I think that it's also important to take care about the means of transport and to use bikes instead of motorcycles or cars.
What do you think could be done to stop it?
Well, as I mentioned before, renewable energy is a great option to start and try to reduce the problem of climate change. It will be useful to produce less meat, so maybe eat less meat, because this way we can reduce the CO2 emissions. Then countries could promote policies aiming to reduce CO2 in factories, and for example Amazon or clothes factories, for example Zara, I don't know. Then for the things we can do, we can buy second-hand clothes or vintage, and or even from sustainable shops. Then it's important to recycle everything we can, and try to use less plastic.
Do you think we can go back to the situation before climate change, or are we at the point of no return?
In my opinion, it's quite difficult to go back to the situation before climate change, because climate change cannot be reversed. In order to do so, the amount of greenhouse gases will have to decrease drastically in the atmosphere, but the technologies are quite expensive, so it's quite difficult. The only way is to prevent further climate changes in the future, and maybe adapt to the situation we have now.